Donald Trump will not stop bragging about the fact that he passed, or in his words, he aced the Montreal Cognitive Assessment almost 2 years ago. In the last few weeks, this has become a major talking point coming from Donald Trump because he is trying to separate himself from Joe Biden, who he says could not pass the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. But he, on the other hand, aced it so well that the doctors were just shocked. They were shocked that the president didn't have dementia. That alone is a terrifying thought, by the way. Like, holy hell, I really, really thought there was something wrong with your head there. But I guess I was wrong, the doctors say to Trump. That's horrible. You don't ever want somebody saying, wow, damn, I thought you had dementia. To the president of the United States, the guy with the nuclear codes. Of all the people on the planet, that's the last person you'd want to see have dementia. On Wednesday, Trump went back on Fox News after going on there a few days ago with the Chris Wallace interview that aired on Sunday. And he once again starts bragging about passing this test because Wallace called him out on it. And Fox actually showed part of the test on the screen. And it was the part where it had the picture of an elephant, had a couple other animals on there. It was like, do you know what these are? Do you know what this animal is? Quite literally, to be honest, because I've had many kids go into kindergarten and they do a little assessment of them prior to going into kindergarten. And one of it is, can you count by fives all the way to 100? Donald Trump's cognitive assessment, you had to count backwards from 100 by 7. Okay, a little more difficult than counting by fives to 100. They did show pictures of animals. Do you know what these animals are? Just like the Montreal Cognitive Assessment that Trump says. But then Trump said on Wednesday during a Fox News interview, then things got a little tricky, right? It's not all pictures of animals and counting numbers. No. It's remembering a series of 5 words. The doctor said 5 words. And Trump had to repeat them back in order. Now, let me tell you, as Trump said, nobody's ever done that. Nobody has ever been able to repeat back 5 words in order. That, the doctor said, was remarkable. Here's what Donald Trump said. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. They said if you get it in order, you get extra I'm sorry. You don't get extra credit on a cognitive assessment test. That is not how that works. You don't get extra points. My God, this man is insane. This man is insane. They said if you get it in order, you get extra points. They said no one gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. Oh my God, folks, like, seriously, how can anybody support this man? And at this point, his bragging about this is backfiring. I am so sorry. I can't keep it together for this. His talking points here are backfiring. That's what's important. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it together here, but this man is insane. The public is actually starting to have the same kind of reaction that I'm having now, which is, are you kidding me? Are you really sitting there saying that nobody in the history of the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, which, by the way, Trump can't remember the name of the test either. He's sitting here bragging about his memory, and he can't tell you what the name of the test was. Anyway, it's 5 words. 5 words. And he says he is the only one that's ever done that. Folks, this man is certifiable. I think he should have to take the test again, and I think he should do it on television. I think that's what needs to happen because the public right now is not sold on it. The more he claims that he is the best and brightest person to ever take this test, the more panicked the public becomes. The more mockery they direct at the president. It's kind of teeter-tottering right now between let's make fun of him, let's laugh about it, and let's be freaked out because this man has control of the nukes. That's not a position any of us want to be in, but we are in that position because the president of the United States of the United States, excuse me there, the president's crazy. And I don't think at this point that there's any other way to say that other than there is something clearly wrong with this man. And he is lying through his teeth. You don't get extra credit on a cognitive exam. That's not how doctors' tests work. He needs to be removed from office immediately because he is clearly mentally unfit to hold this job.
One of today's video sponsors is Vincero Watches. And right now they're offering a very special offer for our Ring of Fire viewers. Just go to vincerowatches.com/ROF and you can get 15% off of your entire purchase. You can also follow the link at the top of the description of the video below. Now, Vincero Watches offers very fine watches for both men and women at an affordable price. And that's what really sets them apart. I want to show you a couple of these watches that they had sent to me as samples here. This is the Chrono S. This is my personal favorite. When I opened the box, I was just in awe of how gorgeous that watch was. This right here is the Rogue. This is also another gorgeous watch, and both of these watches under $300. In fact, all of the watches on vincerowatches.com under $300. They're all gorgeous, all affordable. And as I mentioned, they have men's watches, they have women's watches, they have wallets. They have everything you need to up your style without breaking the bank. And again, right now, go to vincerowatches.com/ROF and get 15% off your entire purchase.